I've been busy past few days and I haven't had time to vlog even. As I mentioned earlier, my lovely son Damien came back from Lourdes. He had a wonderful time and we heard many stories about all the different things they did, and he was very excited. So excited that I kept him home with me for another 3 days just to let him adjust to the time and to chill out. And for another reason, their plane was delayed coming in on Saturday night. It was supposed to be landing at 10:30 and they were so delayed that when I went to collect him about an hour away from the airport, that was the agreed pickup point, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So luckily my husband was home from work and he drove and I kept chattering in the car, keeping us both awake, and Damien was so excited to see us. He was thrilled. And Sunday, then that was Sunday of course, so Sunday we just chilled out. We had another leg of lamb, nice dinner with my family. And what did I do on Monday? Monday was a sunny day, I do remember that. Oh yes, my mum came down on Monday because she wanted to see Damien after his return. So he had some holy water for everybody and he was so busy he insisted on blessing our cars with holy water, blessing the clock of course, number one. The clock was the first thing to be blessed with holy water, blessing watches with holy water and blessing our cars, and he got a great thrill out of that. So then Tuesday, which was yesterday, I had an appointment in Cork, excuse me. I had an appointment in Cork, so I had to leave him for a few hours, but my husband was home, so he was quite content on his own, and there was a digging machine in the locality, so he was able to watch that working most of the day. But I had an appointment in Cork for 12 o'clock with not really an orthodontist. He is an orthodontist, but he's more than that. He's a specialist in TMJ. Now you might wonder, what is TMJ? It's get this right, trigeminal mandibular disorder. Am I right there? Yeah, it's to do with my jaw. About 2 to 3 years ago I got a lot of trouble with my jaw. I actually couldn't open my mouth only a tiny bit, and it was very difficult getting food in there, and chewing was sore. So who referred me? I think it was my doctor, my GP referred me. A lot of pain down here in the jaw, so she referred me to this wonderful man in Cork. So I've been attending him regularly since then. In the beginning I had to come back maybe every 6 weeks or so until it came right. Now what I did was, well, of course I have fibromyalgia, as I've mentioned previously, and that is a form of arthritis of the muscles. All the muscles in the body ache, and that has been going on for 15 years, so I'm well used to that. But every year some new little things seem to crop up, so this was the latest. So he told me anyway that it generally occurs in people with fibromyalgia, and at least 75% of people with fibromyalgia develop this TMJ in their jaws. Now luckily something could be done about it, and what could be done about it is to stop grinding my teeth, or to stop clenching my teeth. Apparently when I would go to sleep at night, eventually fall asleep, because of the pain I was experiencing in my body, in different parts of it, my teeth and jaws were clenching during my sleep. I didn't realise it, of course, and then when I would wake up, my jaws would be so sore and tired. So the solution was to create, what did he call it? There's the fibromyalgia again. Words going out. Oh, it's like a brace, and the brace is to be worn in my mouth, like a bridge for all sorts. It was created out of heavy material. I don't know what it is. I had to be specially measured, you know, with the plaster cast and all that, and it was worn on my top set of teeth. It was a bulky gadget that fitted in over my teeth on the top perfectly, so it was to be put in at night when I would be going to sleep. So eventually that actually did do the trick, and every time I would go back, initially the opening, my mouth was only able to open, I think it was 2.4 centimeters without terrible pain. That was the extent of the opening. Now I could talk normally. The only difficulties I was having were with chewing hard food and with eating. After wearing this appliance, I still can't think of the correct word for it, for a couple of months, I would go back, and each time I would go back, he would measure the opening and he would say, right, it has gone to 3 centimeters now, you know, without pain. How far can you open your mouth without severe pain in your jaws? So during all this time then, I developed this stabbing pain in my left ear that would come intermittently. It was, you'd be driving along, I'd be doing nothing, maybe just sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden I would get this terrible stabbing way in deep in my ear, just for, it would last maybe only 2-3 seconds, but it was so severe and irritating. I mentioned it to him, could it have anything to do with the TMJ? So apparently it does. It's nerve pain. TMJ seemingly is also associated with nerve pain. So I was put on another tablet for that, and that has eased down to maybe I get about it once or twice a week, which isn't at all bad compared to before. And I know it's not a pain, you know, when you get an earache and the pain is there and it lasts so long. This isn't at all like that. This is just a stabbing, like as if someone put a long thin needle way into your ear and gave one big jab. That's what it felt like. And anyway, to cut a long story short, I've been attending him regularly. Each time the opening has been getting bigger and bigger. I think I'm up to 4.3 now, which is excellent, because I think the normal opening is something like 4.6. The pain has improved. Now I'm very, very tender there and on the other side of my jaw, but apparently that is to do with the muscles in the fibromyalgia, and that causes that pain. So he said to me yesterday, be very careful still with the foods you chew. Don't eat hard things. Protected and minded. It put some heat on my jaws in the night time. What else did he tell me to do? Just generally be careful, and eventually it will sort itself out. Now I've been attending him on and off for the last 2.5 to 3 years. That's been expensive, of course, not counting his visits alone, which are not covered by my health insurance. His visits are, so I am glad it was successful and it did sort itself out. Now the stabbing in my ear, he said there isn't really much that can be done about that, only to the heat, being careful, and the nerve pain tablet. So look, I'm happy. So that was yesterday, and after the visit I was tired, because it takes about an hour and a half to drive to Cork, and then you're in there in the roundabouts, and my sat-nav was a blessing. He kept me on the right roads, and even with him I still went astray once or twice, but of course he redirected me and we got there in time. I was there with 5 minutes to spare for the appointment. So after the appointment I went and had a cup of tea and a little bit of quiche. It was a gorgeous quiche. It was in an O'Brien's cafe, and it was goat's cheese and cherry tomato quiche with a salad. Now the salad that came with it was most unusual. It was peas and a little bit of rocket salad and a little pot of coleslaw. They all came in separate pots. It was delicious, and a pot of tea. Now that filled me up, so I was ready to come back home. So I eventually got back home around about 3 o'clock, maybe 2:30, I'm not quite sure. So that was my trip yesterday, and today I'm going for my granddaughter, like I told you. She'll be wondering, where are you, Granny? So we will do some shopping. I need some things in Aldi I need especially something for my son's lunch, so I will have to do that. So that's my story about my TMJ, one of my many complaints, but thankfully one of the ones that can be sorted. So hip hip hooray for that guy in Cork that sorted me out. Bye. I'll talk to you in a little while.